Good evening, folks. I'm John from the Wingman 115 channel. Thanks for checking in tonight. We're doing another live chat. I have fellow guest hosts with us tonight. We have Andy Tran from InnerBark Outdoors and Bryan from Survival on Purpose. Andy, can you please introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello, my name is Andy Tran. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/InnerBark Outdoors. And I am the designer of the new Tops to Home field knife, and been doing these live chats with Wingman for a while, and happy to be here again. Bryan?
Bryan.
My name is Bryan Stevens. I am the creator, I guess, of YouTube channel Survival on Purpose, which is youtube.com/Survival on Purpose, and I am a future owner of the Tahoma field knife. So looking forward to seeing what everybody's got to say tonight.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Folks, I want to thank you all for checking in. Tonight's going to be a fun night. We're kind of having it like open mic night sort of thing. We're going to talk about our channels, some quick channel updates, then we're going to open it up to you, the viewers. If you have questions, if you have comments, things you'd like to see, stuff you want to see us do, anything, you know, within reason is on the table. Tonight we're doing something special. The show tonight is sponsored by prepare-1.com. I'm going to be giving away on the show tonight a first aid kit from prepare-1.com, and it is the new Platoon First Aid Kit. I did a video on this probably about 4 or 5 days ago. I uploaded it. How we're going to run the contest tonight is all you need to do is type Prepare1 in the comments below on the YouTube page. We're going to make it simple. Now, for folks that want to get the first aid kit, we're also going to be running a special tonight. I talked with Ken from prepare1.com, and he has opened up a deal for us. Generally, these run $39.95 on his website. Tonight until midnight Pacific Standard Time, they're going to be $29.95 on his website, and if you use the promo code Wingman115, you'll also get free shipping. So he's going to pass that off to our viewers from InnerBark and from Survival on Purpose. It's going to be great, fun night. Andy's going to tally up all the...
Hold on, Wingman. I think we got some audio problems on your end. I can hear you just fine, but it seems that everyone else cannot hear you.
Really?
Yeah. Can you guys hear him now?
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everyone's saying it.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear anybody?
Hello, darling. Yeah, I know. I got that. My girlfriend's like, I can't hear Wingman.
Can they hear you? Can they hear you, Andy?
Can you guys hear me? Anyone? Maybe. Man, you're freestyling like a mofo too. No audio. This is so weird. Did you accidentally click on something?
How about now? Can you folks hear me now?
Here, I'm gonna go grab a set of headphones, and I'm gonna make sure.
No, nobody can hear.
No.
It's a 30-second delay, so.
Gosh, what are we in the 90s? This fast?
I guess so.
Jesus.
We can hear everyone else. They said they can hear Andy and the guest.
Okay.
Andy, you're gonna have to freestyle for a minute until I can figure it out.
Okay. Bryan, this is where you lay down a sick beat, or I'm laying down a sick beat. You lay down the rhymes. Well, I guess if you guys can hear me, basically what we're going to do is we're going to run a giveaway, and it's big in part by our sponsor for the show, Prepare1. And so we're going to be giving away a first aid kit, which Wingman posted a video about a few days ago, and we're going to be giving this away. And all that you guys have to do during the show is type in prepare one in the comments. Then we're going to choose randomly. And if you guys don't have the luck to win it, you can go ahead and go over to prepare-1.com, and there's going to be a sweet special going on right now, basically 25% off. Instead of it being $39.95, you can get one of these sweet kits for $29.95.
$29.95. I think everybody can hear now.
Okay, plus free shipping. Woo! What happened?
It's folks, I'm sorry, it's a live show and it's Google Plus, and sometimes that happens. My apologies on that.
I bet it's a solar flare or NSA
could be.
Back in.
Could be, because it's such a smoking deal. See, that's what it is. So for this contest, since folks didn't hear me on the first go around, just put prepare one down in the comments below on YouTube. Andy's going to tally up the names, and at the end, Andy's going to choose the winner, probably from random.org or something. So somebody tonight is going to win this first aid kit, and then for folks that don't win, we have a sick deal where it's $29.95 until midnight, and then if you use the promo code Wingman115, it's free shipping. So without further ado, on with the show. Bryan, we're going to do rapid fire real quick. You want to talk a little bit what you got planned for the summer and what you've been up to?
Yeah, I thought you said rap after what Andy did. I don't think I'm out of that. But yeah, we're actually me going to Boy Scout camp for a week in about in June, and I really want to focus. I've got some people a lot of people started. Some people have started sending me stuff to review. I've got some. I did a stove kind of an overview of some different stoves a few weeks ago, and I was very, very short on alcohol stoves. I've got very little experience with alcohol stoves, so we're going to be delving into the stove realm and learning about some alcohol stoves, maybe some more wood, I guess smaller wood stoves. Just kind of trying to focus as much as I can on some basic hands-on stuff, some teaching stuff, do-it-yourself kind of stuff, and I've also got to try to keep doing some knife reviews and stuff, just because people are going to send me a couple people are sending me knives, so might as well do some reviews, right? Everybody seems to like those, and I want to try to do. I want to make an alcohol stove and do some stuff like that. Just some. I've seen stuff other people do a lot on the YouTube. My goal is to hopefully kind of assimilate some of the different. There's everything seems to me, at least, a lot of videos seem to be missing this detail or that detail. So I'm going to try to hound dog it, I guess, for folks like me who maybe don't know anything about it and want to learn. So, and just try to have a good time,
Hey, Bryan, Wilderness Warriors has a question for you. He says, what Boy Scout camp are you going to go to?
We're going to go to Woodruff Boy Scout Camp in North Georgia.
Cool. I used to go to Camp Roosevelt up in East Eddington, Maine. Awesome place. It was an awesome place to grow up. They had a little private lake. Did our mile swim on that lake.
Yeah, we got a lake, and what's cool about it is you get to go down you get to go rafting down the Nantahala sometime during the week, whitewater rafting. So that's always a big highlight of the week. It's pretty fun.
Heck yeah. Andy, you're up, buddy.
Sorry, I did not hear anything you guys just said. I just been writing down names. You guys just started like rapid fire like a minigun. What was the question?
Channel update. What you got going on this summer?
I'm going to be doing a lot of camping and hiking. Pretty much my goal for how much hiking I'm going to be doing is I'm going to hike so much that my toes go numb. And folks that have been backpacking for a long time on a single trip know that after a while you get the hiker's toe and you lose feeling in your toe. But I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I wanted to do a lot of rifle shooting videos this year, but because of the Remington recall, I'm going to have to send my rifle back to make sure that everything's okay with that, because my rifle was affected. But I got a bow, so I'm going to be doing a lot of bow shooting this year and bow fishing, and then a lot more instructional. And in May, early May, I'm going to be doing a road trip over across America to go over to West Virginia, where I'll be picking up my girlfriend, and she is going to be held captive with me. And so we're going to have a lot of fun this summer. So that's pretty much it.
Hey, we had a question for you, Andy, from Meowathon, wondering if you have another production knife in the works.
Actually, I do. It's going to be made by Tops Knives again. And this knife is not really a traditional knife. It's not like a weird futuristic knife or anything like that. But it is going to be geared for the hunter, the trapper, the camper, the person who likes to cook. So it's going to be really geared towards those. So it's really going to be a good complement to the home field knife that people seem to like a lot. So. The recall Shmoli is for a trigger. The X Mark trigger, you can go onto the Remington Facebook page. You'll probably learn all about it. Basically what it is there's apparently some NDs that have been happening, and it's for rifles that are made between, I think, 2006 and 2014 with the X Mark trigger. And there's two triggers out there. There's one with the smooth trigger face, and then one with like the ribbed kind of contoured trigger face. The one that's smooth is the one that's affected. So you can check that. Also check your serial number on the website.
Hey, Brian, a quick question Frogger M3 has for you. Says that he has glasses as well, and he loves to do bushcraft stuff. And he's wondering if you ever had trouble with them or if you're ever worried about losing them.
I hate them. I've got another pair that's like big plastic 50s rims that I got specifically for wearing in the outdoors because they're just a little more durable. And but I'm wearing like progressive lenses, which are no-line bifocals, and that's the biggest pain in the neck for me is because you got to keep, you have to adjust your head around a lot, but it's a pain in the neck. There's no way around it for me. I've tried contacts and I can't really wear them, and it bothers you when it rains. They get wet and all that, but I'm okay without them. I can function without them, but for close-up stuff and really detailed stuff, they help. So, it is what it is. That's a risk you take. These are polycarbonate lenses, so they're a little tougher. You don't have to worry about them breaking, cutting your eye. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't really have a good answer for you, except for just try to buy a cheap pair maybe to take it in the outdoors camping, just in case you lose them or break them, something like that.
Well, I got an answer for that because I wear glasses too, sometimes at least. But if you get the Crokies, is that what they're called? Yeah, that fit your glasses. They pretty much make sure these don't come off your head.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially nice when you're like doing bow drill fires when you're kind of looking down. They're not going to like right off your nose. So one of these, if you're going to be doing a lot of water activities, a little piece of closed cell foam, right here on the back, drop it in the water. That shit still floats, and then you can pick it up with your oar. So that's that.
Lieutenant Survival said a Tilly hat would protect your glasses.
Yeah, I looked at some at REI. The ones they had in stock were like too big for my head. I looked really goofy in them, so I have to check a different model out. The brim was too wide.
Rick Wyman has a question for Brian. Do you have any more compass videos in the works?
Actually, yes. I'm trying. My goal is, and if you got something specific, I'll be happy to hear it. I want to try to cover some like the military type UTM type stuff, UTM maps, and kind of going with that. I'm not really familiar with all that. I was never in the military, but I know it seems like a really good system because it's a little simpler than everything's in metrics, and so the math's easier, and I think you can get a lot more detailed as far as your it's easier to plot points on a map and find specific points because I think the grid is a little more detailed. So if you're not familiar with that, maybe we'll learn together. And if you got something else that you'd like me to cover, I'll do my best. I'm pretty familiar with the regular compass and orienteering and all that. I may do some orienteering videos. That's one of the things I'm trying to do. Because I'm teaching that I got some new kids in the Scouts that I'm trying to help get to their first class rank. That's one of the things we got to learn. So I'm trying to teach them that. So I'll probably, as I get involved in that more, I'll probably shoot some videos on that. If you got something else, let me know.
I enjoy your compass videos. I think they're pretty comprehensive, and I think it comes from you teaching so many young scouts and that sort of thing. So, good job on those.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, with my channel, quick update. I've been pretty busy this summer. I've got a couple trips planned. I'm going back to Maine later on this year. Haven't been back since 1988, so I'm kind of dating myself when I say that. But hopefully do a little fishing, a little scouting around. Have some videos lined up. One that I'm going to do, and I'm working out a deal with a guy from a wrecking yard, is Taylor Brands sent me this charade axe to do a test on, and as soon as the guy has a car that I can just demo, we're going to test this out, put it through the paces. So look for something like that. Look for John to go a little crazy with a survival hawk on a car soon.
And make sure it's an American-made car, like a real test, because it has a lot thicker skin metal than all the other.
I will try it. I'm going to try to think of it in ways that, like, say there's like an urban problem, an earthquake or something like that, and you need to try to get out. That's some of the things that's just going on. Here in the Southwest, right now it's the kickoff for the Pacific Crest Trail hikers, so kind of like a little hobby. Every year I go up to the mountains and I get on the Pacific Crest Trail for a day, and then I just talk to hikers as they're going from the border of Mexico all the way up into Canada. So in the past couple weeks I've met some pretty interesting folks. There's folks that have already just taken off, but towards the end of the month they have a big kickoff event, and I usually like to camp out for a day or two, talk to folks, meet them, and live vicariously through their travels. So I'm going to try to do some of that. And the night videos, the outdoor videos, they're still going to be there, but we're trying to shake it up to show you guys different stuff.
Yeah.
And keep it fun.
And I think we're going to try and get you up in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yes.
So that'll be really good. Man, I'm going to show you a good time.
Yes, we're trying to work out our schedules so we can hook up for a couple of days and do some stuff out there in the rainforest, and then maybe head out to the desert side as well. That would be fun.
Yeah. And there's like no restrictions on what kind of firearms you can have. We just their old law. So
hey, just
on the SBR, that'll be sweet.
Just a quick update for folks that may have chimed in a little bit late. We're giving away a first aid kit from Prepare One. The rules are simple. In the comments below, all you have to do is type Prepare One. If you've already typed Prepared One, don't worry. You're already in the contest. You don't need to do it again. But just in case folks showed up late, and then we'll be prepareone.com's running a special until midnight Pacific Standard Time. They're offering these at $29.95, and if you want to know what the contents are, I have a video up. You can watch it after the show on that.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty comprehensive on what's inside of it, but like I said in my comment on the video, the great thing is that there's actually room that you can actually put more things in it depending on what your specific needs are.
Yes.
Something that a lot of other first aid kits don't do is that they make everything so hard to put stuff back in that there's no way you can actually put any extras in there. So
yeah, that's a good point, and that's also a really great bag. I mean, that bag's probably worth the money just for, especially with the discount. But you know, I've got one. You take a Band-Aid out to use a Band-Aid, and it's like, okay, now how much? It's like trying to put everything, you know, back into a puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really sweet kit.
You have to have like a PhD in packing in order to put that stuff back in. So whoever puts it in the factory, I mean, I bet they can really pack a lot of stuff into a carry-on bag on the airlines. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Ken, you know, in case we forget later on, because we get crazy laughing and talking, have a good time, for, you know, offering a coupon code and for offering a discount. They're regularly $39.95. They're offering tonight until midnight $29.95. So we're trying to pass that savings off to our subscribers. and kind of help you out. We know times are tough. We know that people are working hard for their money. So if you can save a buck or two, and with the coupon codes, free shipping. So we just want to be able to help everybody out the best we can. One of the stats, as I was doing the research on that first aid kit, which really alarmed me, was, and I'm not a big FEMA fan, but they have the Citizen Corps. Andy and I were talking about this the other night. Only 39% of the folks that were surveyed out of 4,461 households had a first aid kit.
Wow.
So 61 houses out of 100 don't have a first aid kit. I mean, that was scary hearing that and reading that. I couldn't believe it.
That blows my mind. It's like, what happens when you cut yourself on a can?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that could be really bad, or some sort of head cut, because those don't stop bleeding. So, it's like a trip to the hospital. What if the waiting line, like here in Seattle, you go to Harborview Medical Center, hospital, you can be waiting 2-3 hours. And I've had one of my friend's moms cut her hand open, I think it was when she was cooking, but her pinky was hanging off just by on a thread, and she's had to wait 2 hours. Crazy. So it's incredible that a lot of people don't have a first aid kit.
Hey, I'm going to hit you guys with a couple rapid-fire questions here from the comments. Outdoors and Dips has a question. Hey, Brian, what's your favorite natural materials for fire starting?
Fatwood. Without
you have a lot of it down there.
Yeah, I was doing some straightening up yesterday. I've got like a big cardboard box full of it. I found a stump in a place I probably shouldn't have harvested it, but it was down. It wasn't going to do anything but rot. So I spent like a couple hours chopping up this stump, putting it in. It was probably like 100 pounds. I like to broke my back toting it out of there, but I got a bunch of Fatwood. It's pretty good.
Now, see, you're in a very diverse, different climate than Andy. Andy, what's your favorite fire starting material?
Probably cedar bark, just because it's so plentiful. It's not the best, by any stretch of the word, but it works. I can get like a nice bundle and then wrap it around and have a nice handle, so I'm not burning myself or anything like that. And yeah, and the cedar trees is cool because you can use it from anything between like clothing, cordage, cooking, pretty much anything under the sun. So it's the tree of life here in the Pacific Northwest. How about you?
See, down here, there's such a diverse ecosystem. You go from the coastal lands to the mountains, and then we have just bone-dry desert. And, within an hour's drive, you can be in any one of those climate zones. So it's really tough. Sage, chaparral, I mean, everything this time of year especially, I couldn't believe just how dry it is out there. So just about anything right now will just combust. It's really scary down here. We've been in a drought now the past couple of years. When I'm in the mountains, there's Fatwood readily available up there. I need to do a video as well because there's a lot of beautiful pine forests, but in the lowlands, I mean, chaparral's everywhere, and that stuff just, anybody who's seen a wildfire from California will know that stuff just explodes like dynamite. Oh, it almost creates its own weather system when it gets going. It's just insane.
Yeah, things get sucked into it and everything. It's pretty nuts.
Avid Outdoorsman is wondering what we would say are the better hatchets on the market. He needs a decent one.
I would say anything from Wetterlings is pretty good. You're going to pay a little bit of a premium, but anyone that's ever held one and used one, it's night and day between what you can get at like a Tractor Supply or Home Depot or any of those places. So
yeah,
it's kind of the difference between like a Smith & Wesson pocket knife and a Tops knife, essentially, is what you're looking at. But that's what I would say.
Yeah, and I got that same tactical hatchet they sent you, John, and I'm interested to see what you're going to do with it because I just used it in the woods, and it's probably not the best bushcraft kind of. It's more of a tactical thing. I didn't really get a car to bust up with it, but I did cut my thumb. But I agree with Andy. Wetterlings. I've got a Wetterlings like hunter's axe, which is really like a little bit. It's almost a hatchet. It's only got like an 18-inch, 16-inch handle. Literally, you can make feather sticks with it. You can carve with it. It is crazy. It's just crazy sharp, extremely well balanced, and it's about $100, 80 to $100. For a lower price than that, I've not got one, but Condor makes one that's about $50, 40, $50, maybe 30, and it seems like a pretty good value too. But I've just messed around with it in a store. I've not really used that one. The Wetterlings.
And I think they're forged as well. They're not like cast or anything like that, so
Right.
it's still got high quality.
You know, and there's the Fiskars and the Schrade, and there's kind of like the one-piece handles, and those are really sharp, I think. I don't know. A lot of people don't like them because you can't replace the handles, but other than that, I think they're really good tools. It just depends on if you're looking for a more traditional, or if you're looking for a functional tool. But I don't think any of those are really a Wetterlings or a Gransford Brooks, which is another really, it's a little higher price brand than Wetterlings, but they're both made in Sweden, I think.
Yeah, and Gransford Brooks bought out Wetterlings. Same materials you're going to find, but
Right.
you're going to find more craftsmanship in a Gransford, and you'll notice that the shaping of it is a lot more done in the forging process, whereas Wetterlings, you'll see a lot of grinding on it. Like you probably noticed on yours, there's a lot of grinding on the bit, so
Right.
that's what you'll notice, and you also see it straighter. My Wetterlings are slightly, maybe like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, just slightly tilted at the bit, but you're not going to notice it.
Yeah.
I have a question asking if I'm ever going to do a survival video under harsh conditions, rain, wind, etc. I'd love to do that. The only problem is we live in San Diego. There's over 300 days of beautiful weather down here. That's the hardest thing, you know. You're trying to plan for that, and it rains less than 60 days, 65 days out of the year. I mean, I'd love to. I might have to go to elevation to do that, but that would be pretty awesome. I wanted to do a winter camp this year, but just time constraints didn't allow that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody had a question. Kyle Tote. What do you think about proper multicam pants? Must be like the BDU pants.
Yeah, Proper. They're a good company, and I like the stuff that they have that are made in the U.S. because they do have some stuff that are made overseas. And when I say overseas, I mean like Dominican Republic type area. But for the most part, I think they've got their designs and their materials down pretty well. And multicam's also, you know, a nice pattern.
Multicam rocks, especially out here.
Yeah, you just can't wear it in the city. In the woods, you blend in, it's cool, but when you wear it in the city, you kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Yes. I wear proper BDUs, the coyote color and the greens when I'm out. They're just durable. I mean, they're going to last a very long time. And I wear the multicam for hunting. On that hog hunting trip, I was all in multicam, proper gear. I mean, it blends in really well with just about any environment. It's really good.
Yeah.
Brian, do you?
Though I like the ATAX FG, the foliage green. That stuff's
Yes.
okay.
Let me see. Billum359 has a question for me about air guns. Says, what kind of permitting is required in California to hunt with air guns? Excessive dock required beyond what is required for firearms? Actually, no. And don't take my word as the gospel on any of this. Always look up the laws local to your state, county, and all that. Just a shameless disclaimer. But pellet guns and such are not considered firearms, but they are legal, certain calibers and such for different games. So I'm just going to default and say check your Fish and Game rules and regs and your county rules and regs, because it differs on municipality and all that. There's such a fine line, and I hate to give people bad word and somebody get busted, then they say, well, John from Wingman 115 said, as you're being towed off to jail.
Yeah,
but,
and they hand out brochures and stuff like that
Yes.
about the regulations, so it really shouldn't be too much of a thing. Go to your sporting goods store. They probably have worried to buy a license and then the pamphlet and everything of like updates.
There's air guns now that are, most of mine are 22 caliber, very good, hard hitting, shooting. They'll definitely take small game. There's 25 caliber that I know Benjamin Marauder makes in a high pressure air, and they'll take coyotes, they'll take hogs. I mean, they even make 50 cal air guns. Lewis and Clark carried an air gun back in the day. So the technology has been around for a very long, long time, and it will harvest an animal with it for sure.
So the big question for me is, can you cast your own pellets? I think if you could, that would be like the shit, because you could like go to the range, mine some lead, and then melt down your own stuff, and that'd be awesome. So I'm gonna look into that because I think we just.
I would assume that if you can get a mole for a 22 caliber mole, that you could do that. I don't see why you couldn't. If we find one, we'll definitely shoot a video or something on that.
Heck yeah.
And if anybody has information, hey, send me a message. John Jon at wingman115.com, and I'd be happy to check it out.
I have a feeling that would look like we're cooking crack or something like that, because we'll have like a little spoon and a torch trying to melt down a little bit of lead to a mold. I just need a few grains of lead.
People think we're Breaking Bad. Let's see. Here's a question. Would love to see you guys do a solo overnighter with just your EDC or what's on your person. And that's from Knife and Guns. Brian, would you be interested in doing anything like that?
I was actually thinking about that today. I don't know how minimal you'd be talking about. I mean, on your person could be a pretty wide range, but I was actually thinking about doing maybe a solo camping video of some kind. Just to go out. I am not much of a ground sleeper with a tarp. I'm a hammock guy, so if I could have my hammock, I might be okay to do that. but I sleep on the ground. I feel like I've been beat, man. So if I have to, I can, but I would prefer to sleep in a hammock, to be honest with you. So, but I think Dave Canterbury sleeps in a hammock a lot, and he's a pretty big bushcraft survival guy. So yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Got to find the correct schedule. Maybe sometime this summer, I can work that out. But it's funny to ask, because I was actually thinking about that on the way home today, thinking that'd be a great idea for a video.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, there's something that we were all talking about, which we can't really mention too much on air, but I am going to be doing a shoot where I kind of take out a minimalist kit and then go out. Probably a day and a half, maybe 2 days. And I might take my bow with me, depending, and then eat some critters or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely something that I have planned in the very near future. Hopefully before May, or if not before May, then after May, because I'm going to be on the road pretty much the entire month. How about you? Oops.
I'd like to do that. For folks know, I had one video called Wingman Black Hawk Down, and I showed a view of how close I live to the border. So I would have to like drive about maybe 50 miles to get away from any of the problems that are associated with being really close to the international border down here in the south. And the last thing I do if I was camping out like that, Border Patrol would probably pick me up and think I was doing some sort of illegal activity. But I'd love to go to the mountains and do something like that as an overnighter or a multi-day trip. I talked with a couple friends about that. The hardest part right now is just being able to coordinate the time between being a dad, being a husband, professional life, the job, and doing YouTube. Believe it or not, takes up a lot of time as well. It's hard sometimes to budget that in because the calendar is so tight, but that's definitely a consideration if the elements and everything stars fall in line, I'd be happy to do something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be very cool. And you both have a lot more on your plate than me, so yeah, that'd be a lot harder for you. But for me, yeah, I'm going to be doing it for sure. So look for that probably in the near future.
Let's see. One of the guys. Do you guys carry a wilderness survival kit, belt type, or else? No bug out bag. That's from Lieutenant Survival.
Well, my minimalist kit is pretty much what I have in my sheath for my Tahoma field knife, and I have a video on my channel about that. Wingman, I know you have a kit like that, although you have a little bit more components in there.
Yep, I also have a kit, and Andy and I both did videos on that, and we have them posted on our channels of what we keep in our kits like that, not counting what we also carry as EDCs when we go out.
Yeah, and for me, that's it's a bare minimum type thing. You know, I'll survive. I just won't be happy about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I kind of have the philosophy, because I have so many rivers and it's so wet over here, is that if you can't swim with it on your body, you shouldn't attach it to your body. So. Right.
Yeah, I've got a I usually got a pack in my truck that's got all kinds of small pack, but I've always got in my pack. It's an adventure medical kit, survival kit I bought a long time ago. It's a little bitty thing, and it's got a lot of really high quality stuff in it. But also, you know, it's also got like a scalpel blade, which is pretty much useless for anything. So I always have a knife also on me. And I've got that in my pack. I don't usually carry it in my pocket or anything. In my pockets, I'm going to have a knife and a ferro rod for sure. And that's, you know, probably going to be I think I could probably get by with a knife and a ferro rod if I had to. And like you say, Andy, it would not be pleasant, but you can build a fire and create a shelter, at least to keep from dying.
Yeah, I'll be pissed off the entire time. I'll be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Didn't say we had to be happy. Just had to endure it.
But I've got the kit. I also added stuff to it, just kind of to augment it a little bit. The other thing I always have is a whistle. Just always have a whistle around my neck on a dog tag chain.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's see. Sometimes the comments are scrolling too fast. It's hard to catch up. Outdoors and Dips is asking what your favorite camo is.
Any of you want to go first?
I'm a multicam guy. Yeah, I'm wearing an ATAX hat, but I mean, I'm a multicam. I just love it. It blends in with just about every environment here in San Diego County, from desert to mountain to coast. So I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't honestly wear camo very much at all. I just kind of wear like brown and greenish kind of earth tone stuff, and that's probably not the best blend in, but just don't have a lot of camo, so I can't really tell you what my favorite is. I guess I like the digital camo. I think it seems to be better than the old school. There's a reason that the military's adopted it, I'm sure. So that's kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah, although you can't think that way for all things, because there is such a thing as ACU digital pattern, which is pretty awful. I guess one of my absolute favorites is Mossy Oak Breakup, and this is a hat that my girlfriend's dad gave me, which I wear a lot, and I have a contour camera mount sewn into it so I can do all the cool stuff. And then a hat that you guys see me wear a lot is the ATAX Foliage Green, which I like a lot. One, it actually kind of looks kind of cool, kind of like a hippy-dippy dye color. So I kind of like the way it looks, wearing around town and in the woods. So, yeah, that's pretty much me. We have a lot of greens, so it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah, everything up there. Hey, just to recap, for folks that may have checked in late, we're giving away a first aid kit tonight. All you have to do is put Prepare 1 in the comments section. If you've already done that, you're good to go. You don't need to do it again. Andy's going to tabulate who has done it, and we're going to do a drawing for this first aid kit at the end of the show.
And the so, $40.
Yeah, $40 value. So great deal. Let's see. Daryl Brad said he come to Ireland. There's 365 days of rain a year.
And they have cool accents.
I would love to go to the Emerald Isle.
Yeah, me
that would
too.
Be awesome.
I'm pretty sure I'd stick out like a sore thumb, but I'll go.
My sister went a couple years ago. She said it was really, really cool. But
I walk everywhere, which I would be super stoked on.
Hawaii Volcano Squad says volcano hikes are the best.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be. You better wear some fire retardant shoes though, because I'm sure it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
You got folks saying their summer plans. Schmoley's going backpack fishing this summer.
Hell yeah.
So, and Andy just did a video where he showed some bow fishing. So,
man, that was the first time I've been bow fishing, and I'm addicted. Like every 10 minutes or so, I'm thinking, man, I wish I was bow fishing right now. It's kind of like a, pubescent teenager who just like got his first issue of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit. I'm just like, ooh.
So the zip chew on the head?
Say again?
Did zip chew on the carp's head after you cut it off?
No, he didn't. What he does though is if I pull out one that's wiggling a lot and who's moving its mouth a lot, the zip will actually nip at the carp's mouth, which I think is
No, that was an awesome video, and
yeah.
I would love to be able to grab my bow and do that. We were talking about that the other night. I mean, it would just be fun. The hardest part is just getting used to seeing a fish and it's off from the refraction of the light going through the water, so you kind of have to judge it a little bit different.
Yeah, well, the saying is aim low, and then what you think is low, aim lower than that. So and it's totally true. Like I'll get it right in the side, right perfect, and I'm like, nope, okay, well let's aim 2 feet, lower than you think it is, and boom, there it goes.
Now, Brian, at scout camp and stuff, how long are you guys going to be out there for? Just a week or 2 weeks?
It'll be a week. A week.
Yeah, some of my most favorite memories as a kid was going to Camp Roosevelt up there in Maine. I did Wilderness Survival Merit Badge there. That was pretty awesome. And they had, God, I hate to quote it because I'm probably wrong. I think they had like over 2,000 acres, so there was plenty of room to send kids out to be by themselves a little bit and practice, for the merit badge. So we just had a fun time at scout camp.
It's a blast. I mean, I'm an adult and I like it. It's just fun. You get out there and get away from everything. And the food's not great. It's just camp food, but you can. It's just there's no phone ringing, and you're sleeping in the woods and having good fun.
Now,
they'd pack some hot sauce and it'd be okay, wouldn't it?
Everything.
Now, Andy, on the trip cross country,
yeah,
you plan on stopping at any national parks, maybe doing a little filming?
Yeah, so after my girlfriend's graduation, she's going to be spending some family time with her family without me. I don't want to ruin that and then kind of say something stupid and make the family hate me. So I'm going to be going to the New River Gorge over in West Virginia, which is known for base jumping at their very large bridge. It's also known for world-class whitewater rafting and rock climbing. So I'm going to be kind of doing that. I'm going to be with a friend from West Virginia, and he's a friend of mine, good friend of mine. And I'm trying to meet up with someone who I'm going to be working with this year to produce some sheaths for the Tacoma field knife. So hopefully we can kind of get that scheduling set up and get all that stuff really good. but it should be pretty fun, even if we don't make it. And I'll probably meet him if I get a chance to go to Blade Show too. So yeah,
You
and
go
then,
base jumping?
might
You
hit up
plan on
Blade
hitting Yellowstone or anything?
Probably gonna hit up Yellowstone, and probably spend at least a day there. Gonna hit up the Roosevelt National Grasslands and at the Painted Canyons, and then I'm going to, on the way there, I'm going to stop by the Tops Knives factory and do a little bit of filming as well. So it's going to be a pretty good trip, I think. Very fun.
I love how they're posting photos on their Facebook page of their production line and the knives that they are working on. I think that's a nice touch to share with folks.
Yeah, I always like those kind of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, and they have a new social media marketing person, so you can thank them for that.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Hey, Brian, Billum359 asks if any one of us has been to Philmont Ranch in New Mexico.
I have not. My troop, those guys have been. We got a really big venture crew, and the leader's like he's somehow involved with Atlanta's Philmont organization, so they've gone a lot. They're actually going. Our troop's going this year, but I kind of conflicted with summer camp, and I got some younger boys, and so far I've not missed a summer camp for any of my kids, so I kind of didn't want to let them down. It's the same week, so I'm hoping we'll get a chance to go next year, though. That'd be a really cool time.
Yeah, the venture crew that I work with off and on, they had a chance, I believe, to go last year. There's a waiting list to get into Philmont. I mean, that thing's huge, and it's hard to believe that. I think they have like 100 and something thousand acres on that Scout Ranch. It's just crazy, and there's 5-day, 7-day, 9-day, and 12-day adventures. I believe, and there's some pretty cool sights out there. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, the pictures they brought back from the last trip, they're in the desert one day, and the next day they're having a snowball fight, which is pretty cool. You know, there's just the elevation difference. I think there's a glacier they go over or something. It's really neat.
You have, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Mato Nupai, I believe. And please forgive me if I mispronounced it. He says he really likes fire steels. He has 1 or 2 small steels in each cook kit. And then he has the big Kahuna fire steel in his bug out bag, 10 inches long and a 1/2 inch thick.
Where did you get that?
Yeah, if you got a link, I mean, that thing will last you a lifetime right there.
That's huge.
Yeah, I bought one from firesteel.com. It's 5 inches by 1/2 inch. But and they've got one that's 1 inch, but it's like $150 or something crazy. But yeah, that's a big fire steel.
Heck yeah, that is. You would spend a lifetime of building fires trying to wear that out. Maybe Andy could, because he did that fire steel video that he uploaded last week.
Yeah, that was a good video to do, because it's also practice for me trying like the more traditional ways. Because for the most part, I do the flick of the wrist type thing, and that works well for me. But yeah, and at the same time, when I was showing one of my friends how to do the wrist flicking one, he had some issues with it. And it's easy for me because I do so much rock climbing and stuff like that I got really good hand endurance and strength. So for some people, you might get sore, in this muscle right here. But yeah, for me, it's just good control, hot sparks, and your rod lasts a little bit longer as well.
Now, just a quick question: when you're making your feather sticks with that with cedar, it seems just like that cedar just takes off real quick when you're throwing that fire steel on there. Do you have any tricks or techniques for folks that may live in that sort of climate to help them get a fire going?
Yep. Well, I will say that there is a little bit of editing. I mean, it doesn't go off just like that. It does take a few sparks. I'm not saying go like that for 5 minutes, but making sure that you do make a Bob Ross afro, with micro feathers, because it's a really good environment for sparks to catch. And just making sure that you have a sharp knife so that you can get as fine a shaving as possible. is really the key for that. And you know, if you have wet wood or damp wood, just don't even try it. You're going to be wasting your time. Your better time spent finding a real dry piece of wood and then restarting. So.
Or if you had wet fire or those Weber charcoal starters, like I had, to help kind of get that feather stick going.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I say, especially in my climate, some Vaseline soaked cotton balls. They're inexpensive. You can just use a little bit and help ignite your tinder bundle, and that's all we really need. So you don't have to use a full cotton ball.
So what kind of cedar do you have there? Because we've got some here in Georgia, but it's mostly if you find one, you usually find several, but they're kind of sparse sometimes. And it's red cedar, I guess. When you cut it open, the interior is like really, really red.
Yeah, we have yellow cedar and we have western red cedar, and I think you guys have also incense cedar as well, which isn't actually a cedar. It's more of like in the juniper family, but they call it incense cedar.
Yeah, and that may be what so I've always heard cedar, but it's got the same bark that flakes off, and it's the bark's really pretty combustible.
Yeah, and I like that stuff. And the Native Americans, they would because the bark comes in layers. The closest layer to the actual wood is the finest fibers that you'll have, and they'll use that for like ceremonial clothing or diapers and stuff like that. And so, it's kind of like upper crust, bottom crust type thing. But yeah, it's a really cool tree, and I think it doesn't get as much attention as it probably should.
Hey Brian, just a question for you on the same topic. You're in Georgia, the humidity can be a factor in trying to get any sort of fire going. Do you sometimes see that being an issue?
Well, I've always I've got like some kind of artificial fire starter, whether it's Vaseline soaked cotton balls or a commercial product. I actually picked up some of those Weber cubes. That was a really, really good deal. That heads up from your video. But Fatwood is like, it'll burn when it's wet. If you get it hot, it catches. I actually made some handles. Did a video. I made some handles for fire steels out of Fatwood, so you can just scrape it. You kind of scrape it off. It's kind of like magnesium, but you scrape off enough of it, and you hit it with a ferro rod, and it'll burn even when it's wet. It's got enough resin in it if you got good Fatwood. And usually you can get to the interior of it pretty quick and get some dry wood. So humidity is not nearly as bad as Pacific Northwest. So, but when it's wet, it's wet. But there's a lot of there's a lot of short needle pines in the mountains in North Georgia, and you can usually break off the sticks on the bottom. There's usually a lot of dead twigs and stuff on the bottom that are really dry. I mean, they snap right off. And pine trees in general have usually got that. They're growing pretty densely because they don't get a lot of light at the bottom. So that's always my kind of go-to fires. It's the stuff that's on the trees that snaps off. When I think I told somebody this before, but when I was in the Boy Scouts, our deal was to make a fire with one match. We didn't have ferro rods and all that, so we had one match, and you have to use sticks. And we just always go for those little bitty tiny twigs that were about matchstick size, and you get enough of those. Even if they're kind of damp, their mass is small enough they'll dry out really fast. So, it's not really a big deal. And I guess if it's pouring down rain, it's gonna be a big deal. But Fatwood rocks. It just rocks.
Yeah, you're right about those pine sticks. I mean, when I did the review on the Firebox stove, in the background behind me, there was just a ton of pine trees where you could just see those dry sticks where you could just break them off. There was almost an unlimited supply of fuel for that stove out there. So, that's one thing to think about, if you're trying to go either the Bushcraft style or the Minimalist style in your outdoors adventures. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like I was thinking today. People are really down on baton. Everybody's into baton and knives now, and a lot of people saying, well, you really shouldn't have to do that if you carry the right tools. But I tell you, when you're trying to split down a really small piece of wood to get some kindling, a knife is the right tool. I mean, if it gets too small, an axe is just too big, or a hatchet even is too big to do it. And so there are times when just by you take a 1-inch piece of wood, you may need to split that down because it's wet, and maybe that's a little too big, too small for an axe. So I think that really helps too, just to be able to be familiar with that technique, to get into the dry wood. It's in the center of smaller pieces of wood, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think the people that are trying to say that you never need a baton with the wood, I think they're trying to be badass or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, like, you should be able to baton with your knife, and there are going to be times where you're going to need to split wood no matter what, unless you live in like a fantasy world.
That is true.
I mean, if I'm camping on a camp out, I've usually got an axe if I'm, on a major camp, whatever. So I'm probably not going to use my knife to baton a piece of 4-inch wood if I've got an axe. That wouldn't make any sense. But I agree that I always do that when I test a knife, because I may wind up being stuck with just a knife and I may need it. So you got to be able to do that.
Now, Schmoley has a question for Brian. He says, do you make fat wood or do you harvest it?
I harvest it. God makes fat wood. I just find it. But it's the wood that where the pine trees, the sap is either drained down. A lot of times I've seen a lot of other people say it's where like a limb grows out or whatever. The most places I found it is where like a stump has been blown over, like the tree's been blown over,
right.
And the base of it, I haven't really dug too many stumps out, but at the base of it, there's, you can tell if the rest of the stump's rotted, and it's you find a really solid piece of wood, just kind of cut into it and smell it. You might look like a doofus running around sniffing pieces of wood, but you can definitely tell it's got a pretty pungent smell, and it smells wonderful to me. But I always cut a piece and leave it in my truck, for like an air freshener.
You and me both. I'm like splitting wood and just putting it on my face, and people think that I'm just a freak.
Lieutenant Survival says improvisation is one skill that could save your butt.
And it also may land you a spot on Saturday Night Live.
That is true. Kyle Tote has a question, says, does any of us have any experience with the Glock field knife?
Look here. As a matter of fact,
there we go.
I've been playing with mine here all night. I got it right here, yeah. It's and I've got the straight back one. My son had he's got the one with the saw back on it. I think it's a really solid knife. The couple of drawbacks to it, I did a review on this. The back of it out of the sheath is really rounded. I don't know if you can see it, but like this part right here, it won't strike a ferro rod at all. I couldn't find anywhere on this knife to strike a ferro rod except for the blade. So I took a file and filed the back of it down. That's one mod that had to be done. And the blade it's carbon steel, I believe, but the blade was not super sharp from the factory. I did have somebody, I'm sorry, I don't know who it is, but gave me a comment that this little cap on the end right there, I guess you can see it, it actually comes off, and they said that was for storing survival gear, but it's only about an inch deep, 1.25 inches deep, and about 3/8 of an inch around. So I don't know, you could probably store something in there, maybe some real small fire starters or something, maybe a couple of Vaseline soaked cotton balls, but
fish hooks.
Yeah, if you got little ones. But all in all, I mean, it's a very solid knife. I think it's the issue knife for the Austrian Army. It's like $35, so it's not very expensive. I think it's comparable to like a K-bar, old school Air Force survival knife or something. And it's rock solid. I beat the heck out of this one on my review. I mean, even though it's not full tang, I split baton the big pieces of wood with it. I like the sheath. The sheath's a little bit, simple, but it snaps in really solid. I mean, I think it's pretty much a bulletproof knife. I would highly recommend it, to be honest with you.
Hey, Surge Racer 56, thanks for showing up tonight. His comment is from you, Brian. It says, the best fat wood is made by God. Truer words have never been spoken. It's true.
I saw some videos about people making fat wood, and I hadn't figured that one out. I mean, because it's something that grows on a tree, so I don't know how you would actually make fat wood.
Frogger asks if that knife is a full tang. And
no, it's not.
Is a full tang really necessary for a survival knife?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it helps. But
For
you know,
a bush knife, no, but for a survival knife, yeah.
you know, the U.S. Air
I
Force.
would agree. For survival knife, you definitely need a full tang.
Yeah, and I think the tang on this one is about to here, about to, it's about to here. So they call this a survival knife. It's definitely not full tang, but again, I beat the heck out of it. I mean, split probably about a 4-inch piece of wood with it a couple times, and it did fine. So if that's what you got, it's probably the best survival knife you can have. If that's the only knife you got on your on you.
Yeah,
It's not,
just be a little cautious, I would say. You know, that's the only thing.
Yeah, my disclaimer would be the best survival knife is the one you have on you when you need it.
Exactly.
That's the best one.
So always have the Tahoma field knife on your person.
There you go. Sleep with that bad boy.
No, I mean, the thing about a human being is that we can adapt pretty easily, and so you know if you're stuck out there with the Swiss Army knife, you'll find a way to make that work. You're not going to try and push it past its limit.
Right.
We're not stupid, right? So just unlucky if you're in that position.
Yeah, you have to know the limitations of your equipment, and when people get in trouble is when they start going beyond what the equipment is designed for. And that's when they're going to incur some sort of mechanical injury, or they're going to have an equipment failure. And out there, it could cost you your life. You know, that's the thing that you always have to be thinking about. And you don't have to be that far from home to have something like that happen to you. You know, most people in Bryan, you know, with scouts we talk about all the time, most people get lost within a mile from the trailhead.
Yep.
And some of them aren't found. So
I've done a lot of research on survival and wilderness survival, you know, whatnot for various reasons. And I think like an extremely high percentage of people that become involved in a survival situation were just going out for a day hike. You know, I mean, they weren't even in the woods so they're definitely not prepared. They don't have any gear, the proper gear, and they were just going out for a day hike, and they wind up something goes wrong, and it's like it's an avalanche of events. It's always something that starts it, and it compounds and compounds.
Yep.
But if you're going out for a day hike, you're probably at least either familiar with the area or it doesn't sound too complicated. So it's not like you're going on an extended trip or way deep into the wilderness. You only go so far, you know, on a day hike. So yeah, you need that's the whole purpose of why it's called being prepared, because I mean if it wasn't, if something didn't go wrong, then you wouldn't have to be prepared.
that's true. Phoenix Prepper has a quick question. Says she has the Ontario Rat 3 and the knife's extremely hard to get out of the sheath. Any recommendations? I don't know if that's a Kydex sheath or one of those thermal molded plastic sheaths. But any suggestion, guys, on what you can do?
Heat gun or a hair dryer set on low and high heat. Soften it up just a little bit. Not so much that, I'm assuming it's Kydex or some sort of material. Not so much that it gets shiny, but, you know, just work it in and out a little bit, and then it should be good, I would imagine.
Yeah, Kydex sometimes gets really tight.
Yeah, with that hair dryer, just take it slow and go back and forth with it, because once that gets soft, it gets real rubbery. So you want to take it real slow and easy with that, and then let it cool down slow. I wouldn't run it under cold water or anything. Just let it sit, room temp. Within a couple minutes, it'll get to where you can use it. But I've had to do that with a few knives, especially ones that have custom Kydex sheaths. Sometimes they're a little tight, but a hair dryer will do it. Just do it like Andy said, on low, and just go real slow back and forth. It'll do it for you.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Somebody had a statement that they keep their Tahoma on their nightstand. Don Radstill says he keeps his on his nightstand. So you got a Tahoma that somebody keeps right within arm's reach.
I know Don. He's been a follower for a long time.
Thanks for checking in, Don.
My name.
Hey, just for folks that may have just come in, because we're probably only got maybe 15 or 20 minutes longer on the show. It's been going pretty fast tonight. We're raffling off the prepareone.com new Platoon First Aid Kit. All you need to do is put Prepare One down in the comments section. Andy's taking names. If you've already put it in, you don't need to do it again. For folks that, if you don't win tonight, don't worry. Ken at preparedone.com has a special for our viewers where you go to his website and until midnight Pacific Standard Time, he's given us $10 off on the first aid kits. They're generally $39.95. They're going to be $29.95 until midnight tonight. And then he's offering free shipping if you use the promo code Wingman115. So a sweet deal passed on to all our viewers. Hopefully, folks will catch the show before midnight that aren't able to get on here live and take advantage of that. And if you're curious what's in the kit, I have a video on my channel. That's a couple minutes long. You can check it out after the show. So we're going to be doing that pretty soon.
Oh, here comes the influx of Prepare Ones. Okay, here we go.
Let's see. Knife and Gun says, for the Rat 3 sheath, if it's a new one, he just works the knife in and out of the sheath a few hundred cycles or so, and it'll loosen it up. I would agree with that. I have a SE Azula neck knife, and it has that molded plastic like that. And once you've cycled it a few hundred times, it'll get user-friendly. Schmoley says he's seen people put Kydex in the oven as well. Need to be careful, though, that you don't put it in under too hot.
Yeah, because then the whole thing will just lose its form, and then all of a sudden
you're going to have goo on a cookie sheet.
Well, not goo, but then you'll have just like a loose-fitting Kydex sheath, which is not what a Kydex should feel like.
Surge Racer says, I need to get some videos up of the Jeep and some of the trails out here in California. If people want to see the countryside, I'm more than happy to get on the Jeep trails. I'd like to get down into Borrego. It's the largest state park in the country. They have really cool badlands down there that I would love to go explore. It's been a few years. But, yeah, if you guys want to see Jeep videos, let me know. I'll try real hard to get it up.
I'm super jealous of your rig.
Yeah,
Oh,
speaking of that,
it's
I'm
fun.
looking for a Jeep. So anybody knows where there's a good Jeep for a decent price around Georgia, let me know. I'm actually in the market for a Jeep right now. So.
I'm looking for an old military Cuck V, 86 K5 diesel. I'm a Chevy guy though, so.
Arnold Schwarzenegger might be selling his.
Oh, you got to get it. I sell for you a good price. It has all the blackout buttons.
You got to get to the choppers first, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, it's good price. All best offer.
That's pretty good, Andy.
85% trade.
All right, I'm done.
Living Survival says he modified his Topps Bushcraft sheath, and he used a candle to heat up a screw to put the Kydex in. That was all that was needed.
Yeah, that's some precision engineering right there. Just a little bit of heat on a single point. Right on.
Yeah, that'll work. Let's see. Somebody asked the question here. The Outdoorsman asked, if you had to choose between one blade fixed or a Swiss Army knife with a saw, which would you choose for survival? Brian?
One fixed blade. I'd go with one good fixed blade. I like my Swiss Army knife, but you know it is limited. I'd have to go with a full tank fixed blade knife.
Same here. I mean, I invented the Tahoma field knife for a reason. That's my go-to baby.
Now, if he threw in there the Leatherman Super Tool 300, I mean, you could pretty much build a house with that thing. The saw, you have a couple knives. You know, man, that's a tough. You have pliers, wire cutters.
But how easily is it to split wood with that thing, though?
Yeah, but I could use the saw and I could go get small enough tinder.
Yeah.
So if it was a Leatherman Super Tool 300, I might I might go the Leatherman Super Tool 300.
You nonconformist.
Well, if you needed to fix your belt, it has an awl, has a file. You could do a lot with that, a ton.
No, you'd be living in gold if you had both of them. But
you'd be smoothing it if you had both of those.
yeah, you'd be like Gilligan's Island. You'd be like the guy that invents stuff. What's his name?
Yeah, the professor.
Professor, that's it.
Be with a coconut shell and a string, and I'm talking to Andy up in Washington State on that. Come in, Andy. Come in.
You're coming in really clear here.
Coming in there loud and clear there, buddy.
Over and out.
Have any of us used the Blackhawk Riggers belts? That's from Kyle Tote.
I have not. I have a pistol belt made by 511. Not that's good.
Brian, do you use any rigger belts or any of the tactical belts?
Nope.
I have a 511, but I don't use it that much. Actually, I use just a cheap old REI nylon belt that I've had for years that works very good. Watch it break next time I go out, but I mean, I've had it for years, and it's just been takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
I just made a belt last week from just for wearing out, camping and packing and stuff. I bought I think I got $8 in it. I bought some 1-inch strapping. They had a little bundle somebody that left over, like $4 worth of strapping and 2 plastic buckles, and made a little camping belt. Just very lightweight and pretty easy to deal with. $4. I think it's about $7 is what I got in it, so that's a pretty good deal.
See, Jeremy Dunlap said the Super Tool EDC every day. Jeremy, rock on, brother. The Super Tool is awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I keep one in my Camelback when I go out in the woods, so I have that. I have the Tahoma. I'm set.
Yeah, I have a SOG Power Assist, which I've been liking a lot.
Yeah, those are nice. I got one of those for my son a couple years ago. It's just a really, really well put together tool.
Yeah, did you get it the polished stainless steel, or did you get black?
I think it's stainless steel.
I like the stainless steel.
I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago for him.
What's the warranty on that? Because I know Leatherman is either 25 years or life.
I think it's lifetime. I think Leathermans are 25-year.
Yeah.
On their tools.
I just bought a 300 Super Tool, first Leatherman I ever had, and I just heard so much about it. I thought I would try it, and so far I like it. I've always had a Gerber, and I like the Gerber because it's kind of a one-handed opening. You don't have to unfold it; it slides out, which is pretty handy. But the saw really sucks on it. So I bought the Leatherman just because it's got such good reviews from everybody, and it's got the 2 different blades. It's got the serrated blade and the regular blade, and a lot. It's got the all. It's definitely a really good tool. So.
Hey, here's a question from Bronson Kelly for the panel here. What's your thoughts on Damascus steel?
We went over this a little bit ago, I think,
Yep.
in our last one. Basically, Damascus steel is one of the oldest forms of like a really good blade steel, and there were 2 ways of getting really pure steel in order to make a really strong and durable knife or sword. And that was one in a crucible, which took a long time to do, in which case you had to heat the steel, the iron ore up to a really hot temperature in order to make all the carbon and everything mix up and to burn off all the impurities. And then there was the painstaking chore of folding and welding Damascus steel. So you really get pretty much the same results. Damascus is going to be prettier, but because it's so labor intensive even now to make it, it's going to be way more expensive. So you can get pretty much a modern steel with the same characteristics as a Damascus for probably 1/4 of the cost.
Oh, they're beautiful knives.
Oh yeah, and I mean I have a knife blink right here that's Damascus, so they're pretty, but you got to make sure that it comes from a really good maker. Otherwise, this is why I haven't made one with this. You get something like that, which is a little air pocket, and that's not good. So you know, crucible made, or not crucible made, but, you know, factory made 1095 works, you know, just as good. Way less expensive.
Yeah, unless it's some sort of heirloom knife that you're going to put on a shelf, you know, you're a collector, it's a piece of art. I mean, I would feel guilty using a nice Damascus knife for outdoors use. I mean, they're real pretty.
Mm-hmm. And I know a couple of guys that use them solely for hunting, just for the skinning part. And they have like a nice stag handle and all that stuff. But, you know, for the most part, just leave the Damascus at home and treasure it, you know, on the mantle or something like that.
Infantry Man has a question for us Hammock guys. Says that he's seen a video with a camping in a hammock during the summer. Do I use a bug net for it? I use a Hennessy hammock, and it comes with the bug net already sewn into it. Mine is the zip, so I enter through the top. Most of the Hennessy's you enter through a slit through the bottom of it, but mine opens up with a zipper, and I like it. I mean, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Bryan has done a lot more hammock camping than I am, so he could probably speak to that more. But I like my Hennessy.
Yeah, me too. I've been using one for about 3 years, every camp out. I probably haven't slept in a tent once in 3 years now. It's absolutely just wonderful, and I've got the kind you go in from the from the Velcro. It does get a little getting used to because you kind of sleep crooked, but it keeps you off the ground. In the winter, it's a challenge because you got convection and just the heat, the wind blowing beneath you. But it's I've not had any bug issues. It's got the little Velcro closure closes great, and the only thing is in the winter it's cold. In the summertime, sometimes, if it's really hot, that nylon is kind of doesn't breathe as well. So you kind of get the part that's not touching, and it's on the bottom of your body. You sweat a little bit there. But I actually had a battery powered fan, and I kind of tied it up to the to the guide when I use that in summer camp because it's usually really hot. So I just kind of tie it up there and run the fan overnight. We bought it at like Walmart for $7, and keeps you nice and cool.
Do you run a tarp during summer camp? You sleep under a tarp, or?
I do, just in case it rains or whatever a lot. But I don't have it I keep it pretty much up towards a lot of airflow. I don't have it pulled down really like closed in very much. Because you can adjust that tarp. I keep my tarp on it. It's all on the same. So, because I got snake skins on the end. I don't know if you don't. That's what's so cool about it. When you get ready to put it up, you just slide those snake skins up, and you got a little bundle and roll it up and go.
They're a must if you have a hammock to have the snake skins, because it just makes it so much easier to stow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think you did a video on your hammock, right? Setting it up.
I did. And there's a lot of videos on Hennessy's site, but they kind of usually they show the fly as a separate piece.
Yeah.
The ones I've seen, he puts it up, and mine's together. I got the fly and all already. It stays together. It's already clipped on. I'll keep it on the hammock all the time.
So there you go. Check out Bryan's channel, and for the folks that are curious about hammocks, check that out. The Hennessy makes good stuff. I mean, I've used mine now for about 2 years, and I haven't had a problem with it. I mean, it's just really, really fun. I had a question here. They said, since I'm going to Maine, maybe do the survival video up there. The only problem is I'm going up to visit family, so unfortunately there's not going to be a lot of time to do that. I'd love to. The only thing is, if anybody's been up to the Northeast, the flies that time of year are going to kill you. It almost drives people insane when you go out in the woods, and the flies are just wicked.
You got to put some ankle weights on, or else they might carry you off.
Yes, you had to use that bug juice pretty heavy up there to keep them off you. Almost 100% deep.
Ooh.
Somebody had a question about fire steels. Anyone use the new UST Strike Force?
That's the one. Is that the one that's like the Sparky? It's a big Sparky.
I'm not sure.
Because that's the one I got like the little ones, one-handed.
Yeah.
Really well. It's just that it gets stuck. It's you know the action of it doesn't work really good. It gets stuck up and stuck out. But as far as the steel part and the ferro rod in them, I think it throws really good sparks. So I'm assuming that they use the same material in all their ferro rod products, and there's probably a really good product. I think they make pretty decent products.
I'm kind of more of a keep it simple, so if it has a ton of moving parts,
yeah,
I kind of shy away from it, because with my luck, if it can break, guess what? It's going to break with me using it. So I'm tend to like where they make the regular Strike Force, that bomb-proof one that just fits inside its own case, and then you can put the wet fire in there. I have one of those. I've used that for a while. Works great. Works really good.
The thing about the spark is, I got it for my kids, but it's one-handed, so you can use it without, if you're injured or whatever, one of your hands are hurt, then you can still use it, which is
that's something to think about there.
Yeah, but I use the old school, just Swedish Fire Steel 2.0, and if I need to use just one hand, I'll just take my knife and then just set it under my foot, and then just use the edge of my knife. I'm already in a hurt box anyway. I'm not going to worry about putting a little tiny flat spot on my edge. So that's how I think of it.
Yeah, those are good steels too. I got one of those, the Army model.
Yeah, I just like how compact it is, and the fact there's an extra whistle on there never really hurts.
So, yeah, you can never have enough whistles when you're out in the woods.
Yeah, never know. A bunch of deer come around you, maybe some elk, and they just have that hungry look on their face, and they want to do something unspeakable to you. You got to blow that whistle.
That's right.
You know what? I noticed that you talked about, I think on the video you and Andy did a couple weeks ago, about that little pack you bought at REI. The little it was on clearance, little bitty small lightweight pack, little REI. I got all
the Flash 18.
Yeah, and I noticed it's got a whistle on the chest strap.
Yes, it does.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of outdoor backpacks are starting to do those now. There's a place near me that sells a lot of outdoor fabrics and a lot of buckles and loops and stuff like that, and they have those so that you can replace what you have in your backpack if you don't have one already. So it's they're becoming more common, and for good reason too.
The Outdoorsman Ledgers has a question. He goes, does anyone know of a good place to pick up a Leatherman Super Tool 300 for a good price?
I bought mine at REI because I had a 20% members coupon this year. But
yep. And they were on sale there just a little while ago, at least here in San Diego.
Yeah, this was like a $70 at REI. So I've seen them online for like 50s in the 50s. So you can Amazon, whatever you think about Amazon. That's a lot of times they've got really good prices.
If you see them in the $50 range, buy two.
Yeah,
because that's a deal.
I think I was searching around on my phone when I was at REI just to see if it was a good deal with a 20% off, and I think I saw one for under 60 somewhere online. But I was on the phone, so I didn't really do much more after that research.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those, and even the Wave as well. The Leatherman Wave is an awesome tool.
Yep.
And
they have the new Squirt or whatever, or Sprout. That's like the entry level for little kids to have a Leatherman. So that's something cool to get a kid. And then they have like the blades that they sell separate, so when they're ready, they can have a real blade. I think that's pretty cool.
Let's see. They said Outdoorsman, eBay, or Amazon. You can sometimes find the combo set for 20% off with a mica.
That's cool.
So yeah, see.
Yeah.
So Andy, what do you say we raffle off this first aid kit? Now, how this is going to work is we're going to raffle it off, and then just contact me through the messaging system on YouTube, and I will get your address and all that, and I will send this out to you ASAP. Now, while Andy's tabulating all this, and we have the accounting firm of Wingman and Wingman dot the I's and cross the T's, I want to thank prepareone.com for kind of sponsoring us tonight, giving us a sweet deal of $10 off. This first aid kit, generally $39.95 for tonight until midnight Pacific Standard Time. $29.95, great deal for as much stuff as you get in this kit. And if you use the coupon code Wingman115, you're going to get free shipping. So that's to all our viewers. In case you missed the show, if you're picking this up after and it's before midnight, hey, jump on there, check it out. And I believe the coupon code will be good for a while on that, the free shipping, when I talk to Ken on that. So thanks, Ken, for offering that to our viewers. We really appreciate that, and hopefully we'll be able to do some more with Ken in some sweet deals, passing some savings on to our subscribers and viewers. So without further ado, drum roll, please.
Have by random selection by random.org, which I basically went from 1 through 40. Outdoors and Dibs is going to be our winner. So,
Right.
Woo!
and I know he's been pretty active on the comments. So thank you very much.
So congrats. Just message me through YouTube, and then I'll get your name, address, all that good stuff, and I will get that in the mail out to you. Congratulations. It was a fun giveaway. And thanks again to Ken from prepareone.com. We really appreciate you helping us out on that.
Yes, very much. Thank you very much.
And for folks that need the information, Ken put it in the comments section to his website. So just look in the comments section. All the info's there. So after the show, head on over to his website, check it out. It's got an awesome website, and he's got a lot of other things on there too, like MREs for civilians on there. So we're probably going to have Ken on the show here pretty soon to talk about emergency preparedness, because he's pretty knowledgeable in that aspect, traveling all over the world. So we're going to hook up with him real soon. Folks, I guess that's a wrap for another show. Awesome night. If you guys want to give any parting words, we'll close it out.
Sure. Again, my name's Andy Tran with InnerBark Outdoors, and I'd like to thank Wingman for putting on the show tonight, and I'd like to thank Bryan for coming along, and make sure to subscribe to Bryan as well. His channel is growing steadily, and we need your help. Bryan?
Thanks, Andy. Again, thanks to Andy and John from Wingman for having me on. I really appreciate it. My channel, again, is Survival on Purpose. And just join me. We'll learn together. Thanks a lot.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us. And I appreciate everyone who checks in the comments. Thanks for your support. Make sure, to help Ken from prepareone.com out. That he's an up-and-start company that's getting into the preparedness side of it. Let's see if we can't support some of our local businesses here at home and help them grow. And Andy has a website as well where when he gets the Tahoma in stock, they're selling out almost as fast as tops can make them.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Check out his channel, because he has an awesome web store as well. So if you guys haven't subscribed to either one of those channels, please, I encourage you to subscribe to them. Awesome content, and I hope you like these shows. We look at coming back in 2 weeks. Until then, folks, take care. We'll see you on the next one. You have a good night.
See you.